The blizzard had teeth. Lieutenant Mara Keen stumbled through the knee-deep snow, her exosuit's power core flickering with its last dregs of energy. The mission had gone sideways 3 clicks back when the orbital strike meant to cover their extraction had instead triggered an avalanche. Her squad was gone, buried under tons of ice and rock on a planet whose name she couldn't even pronounce. The wind screamed across the frozen wasteland of Varaxis 7, a world the Galactic Council had deemed uninhabitable by all known sentient species. They'd been wrong about the uninhabitable part. The Kryn had built a weapons facility here precisely because no one would look. And they'd been wrong about the sentient species part too. Mara's vision blurred. The temperature readout on her failing HUD showed -47 Celsius and dropping. Her human body, even enhanced with military-grade implants, wasn't designed for this. The cold crept through the cracks in her damaged armor like liquid nitrogen in her veins. She had one goal now: reach the emergency beacon cache 10 clicks north. 10 clicks might as well have been 10,000. Her knees buckled. The snow rose up to meet her. And Mara Keen, who had survived the siege of Proxima, who had held the line at the Battle of Arcturus Gate, who had never abandoned a single member of her squad, collapsed face first into the alien snow. The cold embraced her like death's own arms. This is how it ends, she thought, consciousness flickering, alone, frozen. On a planet no one will ever find me on, but the universe, it seemed, had other plans. Through the howling wind, 2 shapes emerged from the white darkness, low to the ground, moving with predatory grace despite their small size. The cubs approached cautiously, their 6 legs leaving strange patterns in the snow. They were Varaxis hunters, apex predators the xenobiologists had cataloged but never studied up close. Adults stood 3 meters at the shoulder with claws that could rend steel. These 2 were juveniles, perhaps a year old, but still dangerous. The cubs the humans had designated as local fauna were called Rykar by the few Kryn scientists who'd survived their encounters with them. These 2 were twins, bonded from birth in a way their species' scattered packs rarely achieved. The larger cub, the one with the distinctive silver stripe along its spine, nudged the collapsed human with its snout. The creature's breath formed clouds in the freezing air. It made a low rumbling sound, not quite a growl, not quite a purr. Its twin, smaller and more cautious, circled the human, its 4 eyes studying the strange creature. The armor was damaged, leaking heat. The being inside was dying. The silver-striped cub, Tor, though no human knew his name yet, made a decision. He gripped Mara's armor collar with his powerful jaws and began to drag. His sister Lyri immediately understood, taking hold of the human's leg armor. Together the cubs hauled the unconscious lieutenant through the snow. They couldn't know that humans were considered fragile by galactic standards. They couldn't know that most species would have frozen solid an hour ago. They only knew that this creature had warmth, had life, and that life should not be wasted. The cubs dragged Mara to their den, a natural cave carved into the ice cliff face by millennia of wind. Inside, away from the worst of the storm, the temperature was merely deadly instead of instantly fatal. Tor and Lyri did something their mother had never taught them, something that went against every instinct of their predatory nature. They curled their bodies around the human, their thick insulated fur pressed against her damaged armor. Their body heat, evolved to survive Varaxis 7's brutal climate, began to seep into her failing systems. Mara drifted in and out of consciousness. In her delirium she felt warmth, heard breathing that wasn't her own, felt something that might have been a heartbeat, no, multiple heartbeats drumming against her side. Her implants kicked in, running emergency protocols. Her body's metabolism slowed, conserving energy. The warmth from the cubs' bodies kept her core temperature from dropping into the fatal zone. Hours passed. The storm raged outside, but inside the den an impossible scene unfolded. 2 alien predators maintained their vigil over a human soldier, sharing the warmth that kept her alive. When Mara's eyes finally opened, dawn's first light was creeping into the cave. She blinked, trying to process what she was seeing. Fur, silver and gray, thick as a carpet. She was surrounded by it, buried in it. Her combat instincts screamed at her to reach for her weapon, but her body wouldn't respond. She was too weak, too cold. And then she saw them, 2 pairs of luminous eyes watching her from inches away. The cubs. They should have killed her. She was helpless, injured, perfect prey. Instead, they had saved her. Tor made that rumbling sound again, and Leary responded with a higher-pitched chirp. They didn't move away. They pressed closer, as if understanding she still needed their warmth. Mara felt something break inside her chest, not her body, but something deeper. Tears froze on her cheeks as she understood. These creatures, these mindless predators, according to the xenobiological reports, had shown her more mercy than most sentient species would have. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice cracking. The cubs couldn't understand the words, but they understood the tone. Leary nuzzled against her helmet, and Tor's tail wrapped protectively around her legs. They stayed like that until the storm passed. When Mara's suit finally restored enough power to send a distress signal, when the rescue shuttle descended through the clearing clouds, the cubs didn't flee. They stayed until the humans came, ensuring their charge would survive. As the medics loaded her onto the stretcher, Mara looked back at the cave entrance. Tor and Leary sat side by side, watching. She raised one trembling hand in salute. The cubs had taught the galaxy something that day, though most would never know it. Humanity wasn't the only species capable of compassion, wasn't the only one that chose mercy over instinct. But they had learned something too, that when a human collapses in the snow, when death comes calling in the frozen dark, humans don't die quietly. They survive. They endure. And sometimes, when the universe is kind, they find allies in the most unexpected places. Lieutenant Mara Keen would return to Veraxis 7 5 years later, leading the team that established the planet's first interspecies research station. She would spend decades studying the Riccar, advocating for their protection, ensuring their world remained their own. And every winter on the anniversary of that night, she would stand at the edge of the ice cliffs and remember two cubs who dragged her back from death and shared their warmth until dawn. Some bonds, it turned out, transcended species, transcended understanding. Some bonds were forged in snow and survival, in the space between heartbeats where life and death waltzed together. And those bonds, Mara knew, were eternal.